Tonight on Connecticut's news station, purse snatching fears in several towns in our state.
I feel like I shouldn't even have a pocketbook anymore because of things like that happening.
We're looking into how police are stepping up their patrols as more shoppers are targeted.
Also, high pollen across Connecticut. Find out if there's any relief in sight and how you can help out your allergies.
A spring chill returns tomorrow. We even have the chance for frost in the forecast. We'll tell you what you need to know to protect plants coming up.
Plus, calls for schools in one Connecticut city to recognize 2 major Muslim holidays.
And a boom for wedding businesses.
We have more than we can handle, more than we want.
How the industry's bouncing back from COVID-19 and the pandemic's lasting impact.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin with a Fox 61 follow-up. 2 Connecticut towns are on edge tonight after a rise in purse snatchings. Good evening, I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here at 10 tonight. Police in Hamden and North Haven have issued warnings as officers are increasing their patrols. Fox 61's Jake Garcia joining us live in Hamden tonight after speaking with people in town about their concerns. Jake.
Well, Ben and Jen, the police here in Hamden are stepping up their patrols after a recent increase in robberies over the past few weeks, but residents are still concerned for their safety.
I've noticed an increase in aggressive behavior.
Police are issuing a warning to shoppers in Hamden and the surrounding area after an increase in recent robberies in shopping center parking lots.
And a lot of these activities are involving stolen cars, so it's really difficult to get enough information on people to really try and solve these crimes.
Fox 61 spoke with Hamden Mayor Lauren Garrett, who says police are focused on addressing the issue.
The police department has also stepped up patrols at the shopping centers. We want to make sure that our police officers are very visible and that that anyone who's looking for a crime of opportunity doesn't see one.
Recent robberies have targeted older adults who are alone, so police are recommending a number of things for shoppers to protect themselves, including parking in well-lit areas, closing and locking all windows, not leaving valuables in your car, and having your keys ready before leaving the store.
It's better to not bring a purse and just have whatever money or credit cards you need in your pocket. Really what they're going after is purses.
The increase in crime has even caused some to think about what they use for carrying valuables.
And I've gone to wearing a pocketbook like across my body now instead of just on your arm or in your hand, and definitely no backpacks because people can come up from behind.
But for those who've experienced this before, it leaves them wondering.
I don't know what's going on with the world today, but it's very, very scary. It is, it's sad. It really is that you have to be that vicious and rob from people.
And police want people to remember that objects can be replaced, so that if someone does try to steal your purse, it's better just to let them have it rather than fighting back and risking your own safety. Live in Hamden, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good point, Jake. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the forecast right now. We've had such a nice stretch of weather, but we do have some changes in store.
Yeah, when we talk about changes, we're hoping we get a little bit of rain here. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now. Hi, Rach.
Yeah, the next few days are looking dry. We do eventually get some rain in here, but you might not love the timing this weekend. In the meantime, we have a red flag warning that is once again in effect during the day tomorrow, basically with the combination of gusty winds, low humidity, not a lot of moisture in the air, and recent dry weather. Any brush fires that end up developing could spread more rapidly and could also be more challenging to put out. The wind has come down after a gusty day today, but I think the wind will pick back up again heading through the day tomorrow as a cold front comes through. Right now we're looking at temperatures that are in the 60s. Here's a look at the cold front sweeping through. No rain out of that front, but it does come with a sharp dip in the temperatures, and you're really going to feel that outside tomorrow. So today's high temperatures were up around 80 degrees, feeling a little bit like early summer. Tomorrow we are getting right back to spring conditions with overnight lows close to 50 degrees as we head towards daybreak. Lots of sunshine through the day tomorrow, but breezy and cooler with high temperatures climbing into the low to mid 60s as we head through the afternoon. And it gets awfully chilly as we head into tomorrow night. We could even see frost as we head towards daybreak with temperatures dipping down into the 30s. News. We'll explain your full forecast and what you can do to protect plants that have already started to grow coming up.
See you in a bit, Rachel. Thank you. Meanwhile, new at 10 tonight, as you may have felt in the air, the spring has been really rough for many of our allergies.
Yeah, you may have seen a car covered in pollen, or you might be sneezing a lot like many of us. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner joins us in studio with what experts say. And are they saying that we have any relief in sight, hopefully, at some point?
Well, if you're not sneezing, you may want to hold your breath just a little bit, because the only relief that you may be getting right now are the medications that you are taking to help with this season's allergies.
I wake up dying.
As the flowers bloom, some say they are being met with the allergy doom.
And I'm not even someone who has had allergies in the past. I have find myself being completely overwhelmed by all the pollen. I feel like I'm breathing it in.
While the slim majority are looking at the brighter side of it.
Even if there's, you're coughing and wheezing a little bit for a couple weeks, we're still pretty lucky.
But this allergy season may be worse than others.
I'm seeing both children and adults struggling a little bit more with allergy season this year. Things came on a little earlier.
And experts say that spring's usual villains of itchy, watery eyes and nonstop sneezing aren't going away anytime soon.
Oh, I think it's here for some time to come. And if you look at your car when you go home, you'll see, that the car is still covered.
Denzel Rosada can attest to that.
You open the car door and get smacked a little.
But if you want to be educated on allergy season and pollen like 7-year-old Lex.
It's from bees, and they collect pollen from the stuff that the flowers have.
Experts say it's important to note the difference between allergies and being sick.
So especially post-COVID, people are worried, is this a sign that I'm sick? So it's important to help us to distinguish allergies from a viral or a respiratory infection, because those are obviously treated very, very differently.
And symptoms that are not usually related to allergies are fevers, shortness of breath unless you have asthma triggered by allergies, severe body aches, and nausea. In the studio, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, DeAndrea, thank you very much. Well, new at 10, a man from Springfield, Massachusetts has been convicted in a cold case from Avon nearly 40 years ago. Hartford State's attorney says a jury found 75-year-old George Ledger guilty of first-degree kidnapping. Trial evidence showed back in April of 1984, a woman was leaving her car in her apartment's parking lot. Ledger forced her back in her car, blindfolded her, and tied her up. He then drove away and tied her to a tree before beating and raping her. Ledger was in a Massachusetts jail in an unrelated case in 2019 when a DNA sample linked him to the Avon sexual assault. Ledger is scheduled for sentencing in July.
A man connected with a murder in Waterbury more than 2 years ago will be sentenced to 20 years in prison. Andre Reed pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder yesterday. Police say Douglas Daniels was killed in a drive-by shooting back in 2021.
Well, police are looking into a string of burglaries, thieves hitting high-end homes while the owners aren't there. Investigators say the suspects may be linked to organized crime groups in South America. The case all started back in 2020. Prosecutors in New York State linked a wave of crimes on Long Island to the same groups suspected in cases in Avon, Farmington, and Simsbury.
When they happened again in 2023, we sort of reached out to some of the same departments and individuals that we had contact with in 2020. And come to find out, there was another South American theft group that was operating up the East Coast and into the Midwest.
Avon police also say the FBI office in Indianapolis is interested in possibly taking on the Farmington Valley cases. The FBI branch in New Haven says its agents are ready to help if needed.
Tonight, the ACLU of Connecticut and other advocates are pushing for state lawmakers to pass 2 bills that they say would increase fairness in the criminal justice system. The group held a rally in front of the state capitol this morning, urging the General Assembly to take up the legislation before session ends next month. One bill would require each state's attorney to go before the Criminal Justice Commission each year for testimony on data collected by the state's prosecutorial transparency law. The bill would also create publicly available reports summarizing each state's attorney's performance regarding racial disparities in convictions.
We are all impacted and deserve to know about the role that prosecutors play in the criminal legal system. State's attorneys are the top prosecutor in each of the Connecticut's 13 judicial districts, and they set the standards for every part of a case that a prosecutor touches.
The other bill would stop police from using deceptive interrogation tactics against children.
Well, new at 10, Muslim advocates are asking for Waterbury School District to recognize two of the holiest days on the Islamic calendar. CARE CT is asking the city to celebrate Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr as official holidays. Eid al-Adha marks the annual pilgrimage to Mecca that many Muslims around the world make. Eid al-Fitr celebrates the end of Ramadan, when Muslims break their annual fast. The group says a group of advocates from several religious backgrounds are expected to speak about adding the holidays at the next school board meeting on Thursday evening.
Well, tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, will be in New London to deliver the keynote address at the graduation for the Coast Guard Academy. Secretary Mayorkas' speech will come less than a week after he oversaw the expiration of Title 42, the pandemic-era immigration policy. Last year, Vice President Kamala Harris was the commencement speaker. President Joe Biden also spoke at the Academy's graduation back in 2021. This year's ceremony will be the 142nd in the Coast Guard Academy's history.